Hi, everybody. Welcome to our next Tofflepot Film Club selection. Wayne, remind everybody what you chose last time.
I chose Woody Allen's Love and Death, 1970-ish.
Four.
Yeah, around there.
So we had a little bit of a chat at the end of that video about some of the topics. One of the ones we discussed was maybe Bob Hope movies. And you pointed this out to me that our friend Kate Locke posted under the YouTube video. Can you do Bob Hope films when I'm dead, please? So we haven't chosen Bob Hope, but very close. We nearly chose Road to Morocco. But instead, I've gone for the Napoleonic era as my theme. And the film I've chosen is Master and Commander. And so in Love and Death, you had the Russians fighting the French, and in this film, it's English fighting the French. And I kind of leapt on this opportunity, Wayne. This is a film that I have wanted to watch. I've really wanted to watch this again for years, since I first saw it, and watched it again at the weekend, and it met my expectations. I really enjoyed watching it again. So I first saw this film when it came out in 2003, and I remember it was like an early morning, like BAFTA screening, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock on a weekend morning, and at the end of the film, I just felt like a very kind of satisfying meal of a film.
You wanted to enlist.
Yeah, maybe not quite enlist, but my suspicion is possibly not quite your cup of tea.
I watched it Tuesday night,
right,
and it met my expectations as well. I did. It's definitely not my cup of tea, I'm afraid to say.
If you were to give it a star rating out of 5, what would you give it? Dare I ask?
Well, I mean, I'm sure, as you will go on to explain, that I'm sure it did everything it was meant to do.
Yeah.
But just those things it's meant to do are not things I want to see necessarily. I'm just not very good at the sort of the big epic.
Yeah.
If you like watching ships firing cannons at each other,
yeah,
it's gonna blow you away.
Yeah. So okay, well, I will maybe I'll give a little bit of background about the film, and then talk about some of the reasons why I really like it, and then you can chip in and offer a counter.
I mean, I stuck with it.
Blast.
Yes, I stuck with it. I didn't. I thought if it's really rotten, I could watch it over 2 evenings.
Right.
But I didn't. I kept watching it.
And let's also
one sitting. So that's quite something.
Let's also remember that our purpose here is to encourage people to watch the film.
I know.
So, film came out, as I said, in 2003, directed by Peter Weir. Made some other, I think a lot of good kind of grown-up dramas. Primarily adapted from 2 of Patrick O'Brian's Aubrey Maturin novels. I haven't read any. Jo has started reading them. This is her next one, number 4 in the series that she's getting ready to read.
Did Jo like it?
She loves this film.
Right, okay.
And is really enjoying the novels as well. So yeah, so it's adapted from a couple of novels, but I believe draws on a bunch of other stuff from the books as well. We've got Russell Crowe, Captain Jack Aubrey.
Yeah.
He, at this point, quite only a few years after Gladiator, year before, he'd been nominated for an Oscar for A Beautiful Mind, so kind of very much at the height of his stardom. Paul Bettany.
And it shows, I think.
Paul Bettany plays his friend, the Stephen Maturin, the ship's surgeon, and he'd also been in A Beautiful Mind.
He's good. I liked him.
Yep. I'm enjoying seeing him in the Marvel TV show at the moment, WandaVision.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Very good. And the rest of the cast, a lot of familiar faces from British telly, and also, I'm sure you spotted Billy Boyd, who played Pippin the Hobbit in the Lord of the Rings films.
I wondered, is he the guy who looked like Tim Key?
I'm not sure I know what Tim Key looks like.
I think he may look like I don't know. We might be too. Because I found it hard to do. Is he? It's not the guy who. Well, tell me what his role is on the ship, and I'll be
he's
able
what
to.
he's one of the you know, well, he's sort of secondary crew. Um, uh, anyway, let's move.
He
Let's
doesn't
move
have
on.
to row, does he? He doesn't have to
no,
row.
no.
He's highest, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
maybe I'm thinking of someone else then.
okay. So pretty big budget, $150 million. So point of comparison, the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man, which came out the year before, that cost $139 million. So like way bigger.
And how much was this one?
150.
And Spider. So I always switch off when
what I'm talking,
figures come involved. So Spider-Man was what?
139 million. And this was 150
And
million.
Master and Commander was
150.
okay.
So huge budget, and lots of practical effects. I think one of the reasons I really like it, they filmed on full-size boats in the ocean, also at the studios in the Pacific that they built for Titanic. Lots of location filming. It was the first non-documentary to be filmed in the Galapagos Islands. Little fact there. And yeah, I think, you know, like I
First
wonder
what? Sorry, you broke up there for a second.
what first non-documentary to be filmed in the Galapagos.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And yeah, I think some of the reasons I really like it, you know, it is a big spectacle, but I don't think, you know, it's got, you know, it's character driven. It's got a very simple plot. It doesn't have a very convoluted plot. You know, the plot is basically there's this boat and it just needs to stop Napoleon's fleet making inroads into the Pacific. Like that is it. And over 2 hours.
That was noted.
And I think it feels, you know, like a really sort of like wholly, you know, realized world. You know, like within the first few minutes, there's livestock on board that you see. There's people getting sick. It feels really claustrophobic. Yeah, so I think a lot of that detail. I think the sound is really good. I'm really lucky. I've got a good sound system. It only won 2 Oscars, but one of them was for sound editing, and the other was for cinematography. There's a lovely moment where the crew sing "Farewell and Adieu to You Fair Spanish Ladies," which I can only assume is a tribute to Quint in Jaws, who sings that sea shanty.
Oh, okay.
As well. And then you've got 3 massive naval battles, all quite different and all very enjoyable. So that's, you know, a little list of why I like it and why hopefully others will like it too.
Yeah, I did love one of the opening shots of the guys going up and down the rigging.
There's lots of rigging
in silhouettes. I thought that should have been the opening shot. It was like a minute into it.
I like the fact I think it starts, doesn't it? Sort of you sort of see underwater and you hear a lot of gurgling and creaking, and I think sort of puts you at sea. Anything else you wanted to?
Well, I kept thinking while I was watching it. Imagine if I know this is I always sort of go off onto a fantasy alternate films. I just thought, imagine if Robert Altman had directed this.
It would be unbearable.
It'd be fantastic. You wouldn't be able to understand a word, but it'd all be below deck. It'd be great, I think. Or Kubrick.
Yeah.
Either Kubrick for the this visual spectacle, Altman for the human element.
Yeah. So a combination of Kubrick's Napoleon, Kubrick's unmade Napoleon, and Robert Altman's Popeye.
Yeah. I did kind of struggle a bit with Popeye. I did kind of struggle a bit with Russell Crowe.
Right.
Well, I can never take him as seriously as I think he wants to be taken as seriously.
No, I'm not. You know, I'm not a huge Russell Crowe fan by any stretch. But,
there was a good gag he says
about the Weevils
early on in the film. No, not the Weevils gag. The gag before that. But neither which quite landed, I thought, because it was told by Russell Crowe.
Fair enough.
I just thought, imagine if you had sort of Leonard Rossiter, but Leonard Rossiter from Barry Lyndon.
Yeah.
You know, I like the spectacle of it all. And one thing I thought while I was watching it, I like the music, by the way.
Yes,
The
very good
music is
score,
great.
very good score. A
was
mixture of
watching-
kind of a mixture of, I think, of original score and classical.
Oh, okay. I was watching it and I just thought at one point, this is like and this is before I checked, because I knew Peter Weir had done Picnic at Hanging Rock. That's probably his most famous film, isn't it?
Witness, The Truman Show. I mean, lots of Mosquito Coast.
Yeah,
Anyway.
okay. But I thought, is this the first Peter Weir film I've seen? Because I haven't seen Picnic at Hanging Rock, and that was the only film I associate with him. So, but anyway, I thought while I was watching it, this is a bit like Dead Poets at Sea. Just because of the way people were looking, the lighting, and I did wonder, has some of these guys been in these Dead Poets growing up? I wasn't sure.
I don't think so.
And I looked, I don't think it was. But while I was doing my research, I didn't realize Peter Weir had directed Dead Poets Society.
No, he's got a good.
So
He's got. He had
that was an interesting little.
A good
Yeah.
TV. Well, maybe to finish, just worth, I think, noting the public little spat that Russell. I don't know if you saw. I think you saw this on Twitter. You see this Ian McNabb, the singer. He tweeted a few weeks ago. Lots of folk complaining about lack of sleep during the pandemic. May I recommend Master and Commander, starring the usually captivating, attention-grabbing Russell Crowe. I've never made it past the 10-minute mark. You're welcome, and thanks, Russell. And he atted Russell, and Russell Crowe replied to him.
Russell Crowe broke lockdown.
Russell Crowe replied to him on Twitter. He said, "That's the problem with kids these days. No focus. Peter Weir's film is brilliant. An exciting, detail-oriented, epic tale of fidelity to empire and service, regardless of the cost. Incredible cinematography by Russell Boyd and a majestic soundtrack. Definitely an adult movie." Well, Ian McNabb, I think he's about 60.
Well, he would say that, wouldn't he?
But yeah, I'm definitely in team
Russell
Crowe on this.
I was reading Russell Crowe was trying to get a petition a sequel to be made.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people, considering how many books, there's 20 books in this series. So I think a lot of, like the fans of this film wanted a sequel. It lends it, obviously the end of the film leads itself to what happens next. And it just was not successful at the box office. And so it never had a sequel. But I think they probably did imagine it would have there would be a series of them. And then it didn't do well at the Oscars. It was nominated for 10 Oscars, and it was the year that the last Return of the King, the last Lord of the Rings, kind of cleaned up. Yeah.
But I'm sure everyone's going to enjoy it.
I'm sure everybody's going to enjoy it. Links on where to stream it. Any thoughts on what might be next for you?
Well, there's a few. I have got a film in mind, a specific film in mind, which I was going to watch before you even chose Master and Commander.
Okay.
It's on my watch list.
Okay.
And it would fit. It just depends whether it's any good or not.
And available on streaming.
But otherwise, Russell Crowe. I'd love to watch some more Russell Crowe films.
I'm sure you will.
One question I wanted to ask you about this. This isn't really a spoiler. It's it's a war film about boats. Someone falls overboard at one point. Is lost by accident.
Yeah.
I had no idea who that was. While they were watching him sort of disappear.
Oh, really? Okay.
I thought, I don't know who that is. And then I had to work it out
by
a process of elimination by watching who's still around.
Right.
And every time I thought, okay, it must be that guy.
Yeah.
In the next scene, that guy would pop up. And I thought, okay, it can't be him. It must be that guy. And so I still don't know who it was that fell overboard.
Well, I think this is just, okay, well, everybody watching, just pay attention. More attention than Wayne did. That's all you need to do.
Watching from me.
Yeah, all you need to do is just pay attention to the crew. Maybe look at the IMDb page at the beginning, and you can just sort of identify them as you go along. Okay.
But yeah, so I have a few ideas bubbling. Obviously, we've done the Napoleonic era now.
Yes. But many other options.
Boats. There's lots of things.
Okay. Well, we don't need to watch you think.
No.
Okay.
No one needs to do that.
All done then?
I think I am. I think
Good.
I've
Well,
said
I'm glad you made it the whole way through.
yeah, and the
Um,
thing is, if I'd really hating it, I wouldn't. And the thing is, I'm just not into the big epic. So it's not a slight on the film. Like there was no bits where I thought, oh, this is rubbish. It's just not really for me. You know, I don't even like The Aviator or
No.
Gangs of New York.
It's
you
not
know,
your cup of grog.
It's not my
Shot
bottle
of
of
rum.
rum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope everybody else enjoys it. And we will do this again in a couple of weeks. Viddy well.
Yeah, look forward to it. Bye.